Hola, bienvenidos a todos a Books and Books. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Bienvenidos también a todos los que están viéndonos desde el hogar. Tenemos muchísimos eventos como estos todas las noches, así que si todavía no nos han dado su correo electrónico, les voy a pasar esta tablita por si nos lo quieren proporcionar. También nos pueden buscar en nuestra página de internet, en Facebook, ya saben, en Twitter, todo, ¿no? Déjenme explicar, perdón. Un anuncio sobre esta nueva modalidad que tenemos ahora de live streaming, que es transmisión en vivo. Al final de la presentación que vamos a tener hoy especial, vamos a tener preguntas y respuestas, y para que nos puedan escuchar las personas que están en la casa, vamos a pasar un micrófono, y es un poco extraño porque harán la pregunta al micrófono y aquí no se va a escuchar nada, pero en el hogar se escucha bien. ¿Ok? Y bueno, ahora sí, vamos a empezar. Apaguen sus celulares, por favor. Y esta noche tenemos el gusto de tener con nosotros a Claudia Caporal con su libro La jefa de la casa. Y para presentarla como se merece, tenemos una sorpresa y tenemos a Martín Llorens. Martín, como seguramente ya todos lo conocen, es un renombrado experto de moda y belleza y tiene más de 15 años de experiencia inspirando a la comunidad latina. Es el asesor de imagen y moda de Despierta América, de la cadena Univisión, y anfitrión de Hola Martín y Tu vida más simple en el canal utilísimo Fox Life. En la actualidad tiene también 2 libros que tenemos en la librería, por supuesto. El primero es Descubre tu estilo, tu guía para vestir mejor, y el segundo, Vive la vida de tus sueños, tu guía al éxito y la felicidad. Démosle un aplauso, por favor, a Martín para que nos presente a Claudia.
Hola a todos, muy buenas tardes. Cita a través de la maravilla esta de la tecnología, pero también a través del internet. Así que es un placer para mí estar esta tarde aquí por muchos motivos. Número uno, porque yo llevo más de, como decía, 15 a 20 años viviendo aquí en los Estados Unidos, y desde que yo llegué a este país me di cuenta que estaba haciendo un sueño realidad, ¿no? Que llegas a este maravilloso país de los Estados Unidos y te permite, pues, en soñar, y si tú realmente tienes pasión por algo pues, y trabajas fuerte, eres capaz de lograrlo. Y durante toda mi vida he tenido la fortuna de dedicarme a la mujer. Primero con un maravilloso libro que se llama Descubre tu estilo, donde mi objetivo era ayudar a la mujer a vestirse mejor de acuerdo a su tipo de cuerpo y sin importar el tamaño, el presupuesto, la talla. Y en segundo lugar, creé un libro dedicado a cómo conectarse con su ser interior, con su ser interno, para que pudiera realmente sentir una actitud positiva, para que se sintiera bien, para que pudiera desarrollarse en muchas áreas personales y profesionales. Por lo tanto, explico todo esto porque mi vida está dedicada a la mujer. Entonces, cuando Claudia Caporal me llamó y me dijo, mira Martín, ya mi sueño se ha hecho realidad, ya tengo mi libro, no te lo vas a poder creer, me comentó de qué se trataba. Y me habló, bueno, es un libro que se dedica con todo el amor de Claudia a lo que es la jefa de la casa. Para mí la mujer es lo más importante de todos los hogares, y sin una mujer estable, que se encuentre a gusto con su propio cuerpo, que tenga salud, que se sienta desarrollada en todos los niveles, pues el hogar se termina cayendo. Entonces Claudia y yo tuvimos la fortuna de conocernos hace 6 años. En un evento que hubo aquí en la ciudad de Miami que se llama Puedes Llegar, era en el 2008. Y en aquella época yo ya estaba un poquito, ¿sabes? Ya llevaba con Despierta América bastante tiempo y eso. Y en aquella época tuve la fortuna de conocer a Claudia, porque ella tenía segmentos de estilo de vida y venía y estaba como que los dos teníamos muchas ilusiones. Teníamos los segmentos en Despierta América, que es un, ¿sabes? Es un gran honor poder tener la plataforma de Univisión para llegar a toda nuestra comunidad. Pero los dos como que éramos, no quiero decir novatitos, pero éramos como, teníamos muchas ilusiones, se nos veía brillar. Entonces a los dos nos pusieron al mismo tiempo en lugar como keynote speakers, que era donde estaba María Marín, y teníamos a Felipe, y teníamos a todos esos maravillosos motivadores, la doctora Isabel, para las sesiones de al lado del taller, ahí estábamos Claudia Caporal y Martín Llorens. Y los dos éramos como que con nervios y haciendo nuestras presentaciones y los dos mirábamos, bueno, algún día vamos a tener los libros y algún día vamos a hacer presentaciones por todo el mundo y algún día vamos a poder también sentirnos fuertes y seguros. Y bueno, para mí es un placer porque es que han pasado 6 años y todo lo que nosotros hemos compartimos en aquel entonces y a lo largo de los años pues hemos hecho poco a poco nuestro sueño realidad y aquí estamos, ¿no? Para quienes no conozcan, Claudia Caporal, bueno, es una hermosa venezolana que representa lo que veis aquí. Ella es la jefa de la casa. Se lo tendríamos que preguntar a su queridísimo marido, ¿dónde estás? Si realmente es la jefa de la casa, pero toda mujer pues viene inspirada por la otra jefa. Y la otra jefa pues la tenemos aquí presente en la primera fila, mi queridísima Estrella, la cual tuve la oportunidad también de conocer en el 2008. Y yo creo que, ¿sabes? El mérito también es muy tuyo por haber criado una hija tan espectacular, con tantas cualidades y tantos detalles. Claudia, pues además de estar en Despierta América, ha estado como asesora en Nuestra Belleza Latina, ha trabajado en radio, columnas en Venue, representa patrocinadores, además ha tenido su propio programa de televisión con El peso del matrimonio en Galavisión y bueno, finalmente ella quería pues reflejar en un libro un poquito todos sus conocimientos, porque al igual que yo, cuando estamos en televisión, pues tenemos 1 minutito, 2 minutitos y tanto Claudia tiene tanta pasión que quiere contarlo todo, pero el tiempo se nos va. Entonces, ¿qué mejor manera de hacerlo a través de un libro donde puede ella pues finalmente compartir todos sus secretos, todos sus consejos paso por paso? Y bueno, el libro, el protagonista principal va a ser la mujer de hoy, la mujer moderna, la mujer que encuentra balance entre su vida personal y profesional. Y yo creo que el libro viene definido por quién es Claudia, ¿no? Si yo tuviera que pensar en Claudia, yo veo una mujer con mucha determinación, mucha disciplina, es una mujer que no se ha dado por vencido fácilmente. Ahí ha estado, al pie del cañón, y lo sé porque ha estado al lado tuyo por tantos años. Una mujer que también cuida mucho los detalles, ¿no? Entonces yo creo que también una jefa de la casa, una de las cosas más importantes es los pequeños detalles, la planificación, la organización. Y ella siempre es una mujer que solamente por verla, su look y eso, cuida todos los detalles, está perfecta, está divina, el look, todo. Y yo sé que todos sus segmentos los cuida cuando ella sale en Despierta América, en cualquier artículo o motivación que hace, cuida hasta los más pequeños detalles porque de eso se trata, de una mujer muy organizada. Cuando tuve el placer de mirar un poquito por encima del libro, vi que ahí estaba detallado las cualidades de mi queridísima Claudia, que son, ¿sabes? Amor, pasión, estilo, enfoque, pero sobre todo muchas ganas de ayudar a la mujer, ¿no? Que como amiga, contándoles lo bueno, lo malo, contándoles el proceso de cómo que debe ser perfecta muchas veces, ¿no? Como que las mujeres tratan de buscar la perfección en el hogar y en ser la mejor esposa, la mejor madre, la mejor hija, y al final del día están como un poco como que se sienten en medio de un huracán tratando de encontrarse a ellas mismas. Yo creo que este libro, lo principal de todo, el principal objetivo del libro es dar tiempo a la mujer para que se dedique a ella misma. Y entonces eso me encanta, Claudia, la verdad, porque estás ayudando a muchas mujeres a planificar, a organizarse, a restablecer prioridades y a saber lo que es importante en sus vidas y finalmente a que ese tiempo que pueden ahorrar se lo dediquen a ellas, que son los que realmente se lo merecen. Pero bueno, ¿para qué les voy a contar yo el libro cuando tenemos aquí en vivo y en directo a mi queridísima Claudia Caporal? Te quiero mucho.
Yo no tengo más nada que decir. Vayan a comprarlo a la caja, por favor. Muchas gracias. Gracias. Hi, good evening. I think I want to try to keep this conversation bilingual because a lot of my guests today, they speak English, and I actually think that this jefa de la casa that I propose and that I talk about, it's not exclusive. It's a universal woman. So why not? I want to talk to my jefas gringas también. First of all, please welcome and grab a seat. This is such a bizarre moment for me. It's such a wonderful night. It's probably an out-of-body experience. And I'm going to explain to you why. Growing up as a girl in Caracas, Venezuela, I always was surrounded with papers, with books, always writing, always scribbling. En Caracas, donde nací, siempre fui una niña que estaba rodeada de papeles, escribiendo, siempre anotando cosas. Actually, my sister can attest to that, because she grew tired of me keeping the lights on in the room that we share, until she decided to start like unscrewing the bulb, and she would say, "Stop it, we're gonna go to bed right now." In a list that I kept, and I remember vividly, en esa listita que yo guardaba con mis cosas por hacer, estaba bien claro. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted two things were clearly explained there. Escribir un libro y ser Miss Universo. I got the first one now. It's cross-check. So the first one, at least, I have it. Today, I'm so happy to share with you that I am a published author. Yes. And it's a very, very out-of-body, very special moment, and I'm really happy to share with you today. The book is fresh out of the presses, so, and I brought you here, of course, for you to buy it and get it and enjoy it at home. But I want to give you a little tour of it. Tonight, I'm not going to be... Since I'm going to try to keep this bilingual, voy a tratar de hablar un poquito de los dos idiomas, as much as I can do it. No quiero extenderme mucho, pero los quiero pasear un poco por lo que es este trabajo y luego de eso, pues voy a abrir el micrófono para cualquier pregunta. I'm gonna take any questions that you might have, whether it is regarding the publishing process of the process of producing a book, or my work, or the book itself. We have some wine in the table back there. So this is going to be a very casual night. I'm going to welcome you to go grab something to eat or a glass of wine. And first, and I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces, and this is very exciting. Thank you so much, by the way, for opening time para abrir un poquito de tiempo en el día tan agitado que tenemos y venir a acompañarme. Significa mucho para mí, de verdad. So the first thing that I want to get out of the way, really, because I might forget and I don't want to run into this huge mistake. I've been advised by Martin. I want to thank everyone that was involved in this big production. It takes a lot of time. A lot of people don't know this, but it takes not only a lot of work, but a lot of time to put together a book, and a lot of people involved. So I want to thank, first of all, my beautiful agent, Diane Stockwell in New York. I'm saying thank you for believing in me a couple of times, and for really introducing me to the right people and taking this project around. My family at Penguin, wonderful. Putting up with me is not easy. I look just perfect, but this is just a front a lot of the time. So they have been wonderful and patient. Hector Torres is here, Eric Risenberg, Grace Araujo, Carlos Azula, my beautiful editor, Cecilia Molinari. Thank you so much to all of you guys. Thank you to the people that put this image together. El Autobús, Simón de Franca, Roberto Fonfrías, my photographers that gave me beautiful images for the book, Chantal Laurie, Flor Collazo with the makeup. I look very beautiful. I look nice, right? You have to see me in the morning. Okay. Also, my support team at home. Again, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be no estaría yo haciendo la mitad o un tercio de las cosas que me gusta hacer si no fuera por el apoyo de mi equipo en la casa. Y quiero de verdad comenzar por agradecerle a mi mamá, a Estrella de Córdoba, para quien aparte les pido un gran aplauso. I think she had something to drink already, and she's a little tipsy, but it's fine. She's been here for 2 hours already, the first one to get here. La jefa de verdad, the real deal. This lady not only put my sister and myself through college and through private schools, education by herself, But when I went to do my research and I really wanted to talk about this multitasking crazy lady that we have become today, I drew a lot of content out of my mom. And it made me really humble, and it made me realize, and it made me really grateful, even though probably I don't thank her enough. Cuando escribí el libro, mami, vi mucho de este contenido, lo saqué pues de los consejos, no solamente de los consejos que tú me diste, sino de la vida que vivimos juntas. Una señora que nos puso a través de escuelas privadas y nos llevó mucho más allá, ella sola, siendo una madre soltera, una mujer con cojones, quiero decir con el perdón de la palabra. I want to thank my husband, Ricardo, of course, for any of you, a lot of you that are here that knows us privately, he is la jefa de la casa. I'm just the ambassador of our household. Thank you again for sleeping alone for so many months, because I was stuck in the computer until like 4 or 5 in the morning. And thank you for supporting me. Listen, it's a lot of money to put these things together. And also a lot of it requires a big pocket. I'm kidding just a little bit. No, thank you for the love. I'm going to try not to cry, but thank you for learning, dealing with me and learning to wait. I think now we're starting to see a brighter side of this whole invention of mine, of this whole enterprise. Thank you to my other mom and my other mother of my kids, Mayra Somoza. She might be watching from home. Mayra, mi asistente, la que cuida de mis tesoros más preciados, mis hijos, sin la cual no estaría yo tampoco haciendo nada de esto. And I think I'm going to wrap it right there. So right now, what I want to tell you is just a little bit about the book. I want to really explain why. Well, first of all, I think the title is self-explanatory, La jefa de la casa. What I have in here is a guide, is a survival manual, un manual de supervivencia, una Biblia, para gerenciar esta empresa tan sofisticada y tan compleja en la cual nosotros nos encontramos al frente, que se llama la familia. La jefa de la casa salió de mi propia frustración, my own struggle. This book was born out of my own frustration when I got married and when I started having kids, and I really didn't know where to start. I was doing just fine until I got into this new persona. And even though I love it and it's really fulfilling and it's something full of happiness and excitement, it is really complicated to juggle so many roles and to be that person that takes care of the lives of other people, that is a wife, that is a friend, that is somebody that knows how to cook, that keeps a house together. So I really started researching, and I wanted to find, at some point I was really frustrated seeking for information, and I would find a cookbook that would tell me how to do a lasagna, like if I had time. And I would find something that would tell me how to keep a perfect Martha Stewart-like life. But that's not what I wanted, because honestly, really, who has the time or las ganas, la fuerza de llegar a la casa, come home after a long day, after being tired, long day at the office, and bake cookies? So I really thought that I needed something practical, something honest, and something that would address all of my needs all together. I didn't find it, so I decided that I was going to be the one to write it. So la jefa, this jefa that I propose here, first of all, let me go back a little bit. Is basically a compilation of practical tips to juggle all the different roles, all these different hats that we put on in the forefront of being this jefa de la casa y de la familia. In one single day, We go from being the nurse to the shrink, to being the cook, to managing the money and paying the bills, and shopping for the birthday parties, and having to go all the way to Pinecrest to pick up the kids. So I divided the book into the chapters. Each one of them addresses the most common roles that los roles más importantes que nosotras como mujeres abrazamos o ejecutamos al frente de la familia. Of course, I want this reference guide to be close to you all the time, as a material that you can go to every time that you need some help addressing any one of these roles. But I think most importantly, I really want to ignite with this jefa and the picture, like I know my shit is on purpose. I want to ignite a conversation at home. I really want this to be the first step in a couple of things. I think women, we have been humiliated with the name of ama de casa. I remember vividly too, my mom at some point, because she always worked, but cuando nuestra mamá, nuestra abuela tenía que escribir profesión, ocupación del hogar, mejor dicho, era mejor decir, eres igual que nada. When really it's not. It's a very sophisticated profession. It requires a lot of being very smart, being savvy, being resourceful, a lot of things. So this is, from me, it's really an invitation for myself and for all of you out there to grab that role of jefa by the horns, but really with pants, and to embrace it with pride. And to also recognize that being la jefa de la casa, it's a huge responsibility, and it's a very powerful role. And we should start requiring help. I'm involving the men here. This is when we start, when we are empowered, and when we feel entitled with this position, is when we talk to our friends, cuando hablamos con nuestras familias y les pedimos ayuda. También esta posición de jefa poderosa tendría que hacernos pensar de que de pronto es más importante guardar un poquito de dinero y no comprar los zapatos todos los meses. Maybe we don't have to buy the shoes and the clothes every month. But why not spend that money in hiring some help to really help us with all the different responsibilities that we have? En el libro, aparte de esos tips prácticos que tengo para atacar cada una de las posiciones, besides all the practical tips that I have in the book, I'm really talking about how to hire help for when you're tired, for when you really can do it anymore, when you don't know how to do it. We have been, set out there, nos han designado para ser la jefa de una empresa para la cual no nos educamos, no entrenamos. El libro también contiene otras cosas un poco más light. Quería hacerlo un manual divertido. Tengo algunas oraciones. Cada capítulo lo comenzamos con una oración. Y hay algunas personas, ya empecé como a tener, I got some feedback from people asking me, are you very religious? Like, why do you start each chapter with a prayer? ¿Sabes por qué? Porque cuando eres la jefa de la casa y tienes un niño con fiebre y se te queman las arepas y no sabes por dónde comenzar, believe me, we call for God a lot of times. So I think that women today, we need help from all the angles, and we need as much as we can get. And this is the spirit of the book, and I'm really hoping, as much as I hoped to become Miss Universe, I might not do it in this lifetime, but I actually think that I can ignite a conversation where women can become more empowered, and really we can embrace this jefa de la casa with the help of our families and from a different perspective. I think I'm going to open now the mic for any of you who have any questions, whether it's about publishing a book or about the book itself or about me, or about my husband. I don't know if he's going to allow me to answer any of those, but I will try. Yes.
Happy birthday. I understand.
I know that.
Yes.
What a great coincidence. Today, hoy es el día de la del jefe. El día de los jefes. So applause to me, please. This is such a wonderful... Wow, such a wonderful coincidence. I know that. Somebody just wrote me on Facebook saying, like, you did this on purpose. Today is the day. And I said, my marketing people. Yes, of course.
You pass the token from I am the boss of the house right now to your husband, like you are now the boss right for now. And then you take it back. And how is that back and forth between who rules at a given moment or at a given time?
Well, ideally, everyone got the question, even on the live stream? Because it doesn't have any return, but you got it there. Okay, thank you. She wants to know how we transit, right? That power, that it's a power struggle sometimes, a lot of times. Well, most of the times, that's marriage, baby. That doesn't... I think I don't like to give away. No, I don't like to give away the power. Maybe I have to explain myself. I'm a rebel, okay? I'm a fighter, and I'm sorry about that sometimes. Ideally, marriage or life together with somebody else would be a cooperation. Idealmente sería una colaboración entre dos personas. Yo pienso que naturalmente la mujer, we naturally have some powers from God, from the universe, to be nurturing, to be executing all of these roles that I talk about here. The tricky part, or the irony, la ironía que vivimos hoy en día es que las mujeres, we went out to get the degrees, the education. We thought that we didn't want to be that housewife because we saw our moms, our grandmothers struggling with it. So, and actually, that was like demeaning. We didn't want to be that. But the irony is that, yes, we come home tired and exhausted, and we're now going out there to get the money. But you are greeted with this never disappearing, always present question, ¿y qué es lo que hay para la cena? ¿Qué es lo que vamos a comer hoy? What's for dinner tonight? And you're like, I like to look back and I'm like, coño, no sé, ¿qué es lo que hay para la cena? I really don't know it. We are that person. We are the nurturing role in the family. Ideally, again, answering your question, it would be a collaboration where, and this is actually an invitation for all of you men here, and actually a conversation that I'd like to extend everywhere. Men need to be more supportive of us, but we need to communicate that we are struggling. I spoke with a lot of women to put together the book. I spoke with a lot of my friends. I did interviews, and I can say that probably 98% of mi muestra de mujeres a las que consulté, they are all in the verge of a breakdown. Everyone is stretched to the limits. We need to say that at home. I say it all the time, and I have the people from el manicomio esperándome allá afuera. I think it starts from owning the role, not running away from it, but also it starts from communicating and being more open in that communication and saying, listen, yeah, this is very, very difficult. Because we also, our generation of women, nobody's going to stop us from being the entrepreneurs. Nobody can stop. Nadie nos puede detener ya de no querer tener las carreras y de estar allá afuera ligadas con el mundo, porque ya nacimos en esta época. So nobody can tell me anymore, you're going to stay home and take care of your beautiful family, which is a blessing, and I know it is, but I want more out of life. So it requires smart hombres con pantalones sin complejos que se presenten a la cita y quieran hacerlo contigo. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
Are you going to allow?
Are you from India?
I'm from India, yes.
Okay.
And my question is, are you going to allow your husband to write a book for us boys?
Listen, I am the published author here in this family, okay? Thank you. Next question, please. Anybody else?
Una pregunta, ¿cuál de las áreas en las cuales has dividido el libro fue que al escribir te llevases más sorpresas de que dices, wow, aquí es algo nuevo que no sabía?
Yeah, I don't even have to think about it. The area of la jefa de la casa, the area that I struggled the most, and I think I have my money manager official over here, es el área de ser la jefa de las finanzas. Ese es el área donde yo tengo más problemas y donde simplemente no es lo mío. Sin embargo, reconozco que es algo que I'm not throwing the towel. I need to learn a lot. So that chapter in particular, my editor was like, okay, are you going to turn it in at some point? Me tomó mucho trabajo y aprendí mucho y me di cuenta de que, wow, o sea, de verdad aquí tengo mucho que hacer. Hace poco estuve haciendo una charla donde hice también un poco de investigación y me sorprendí yo misma de ver los números que tiene Nielsen, la compañía Nielsen, prestigious research company. They threw out some numbers just recently saying that 1.3 or 8 women, Latinas, las Latinas, today, all of us, from our computers or from the stores, we are shopping. It accounts for 1.3 or 8 trillion a year. That made me feel very powerful. Dollars, yes, of course, yes. Estamos gastando, somos mujeres que manejan el dinero. So, por supuesto, tenemos que saber cómo manejarlo, cómo ganarlo y cómo guardarlo y cómo invertirlo. That is a big struggle for me.
With money, I think we just like to spend it a lot. That is basically what happens. So managing the money that we like to spend left and right, hiring help and everything, it has to be turned into how you're going to profit from it. So when we see it as a business like you do, becoming the boss, because to be the boss, you have to have employees, right? So these employees, how you manage the home like a business, it becomes where are the profits and loss? Where is my P&L?
Absolutely,
So
yes.
I do learn that from you. So you don't have a problem with money. You actually like money.
I like it a lot.
I think I don't.
I probably have to learn how to live within my means a little bit more. No, that's actually a very interesting point. And I have part of my struggle with money is I grew up in a house where money wasn't around too much. My mom, as I said before, she raised 2 daughters by herself in a very, it wasn't a poor, like, paupérrima situación, pero nosotros éramos bastante humildes. And the only money coming in was el producto de su trabajo. So I grew up with a standard of not feeling uncomfortable when I don't see abundance of things around me. I didn't grow up, and I think this is important for us today as women, also as jefas de la casa, criando nuestros hijos y enseñándoles las cosas correctas que realmente te ayudan en el futuro. Es interesante entender que necesitamos saber inclusive cómo enseñar, o sea, like how to bring this information forward to our kids. Y definitivamente, one of the lessons that I learned and that I try to practice today and that is part of me is really living even below your means is something good. And I learned it at home. The problem starts, just to finalize the question, when we live together. We live in when you bring to the equation another person. You're not alone. As jefa de la casa, you're probably not alone anymore. You're sharing your life and all of about it with somebody else. Now you're having a family. I think a lot of these roles, and one of my surprises also writing the book, is the realization of that the responsibility that we have in our hands, and that we have, a lot of the times we haven't trained for doing those things. So it's important to realize, I mean, we worry about our professions, like I work, this is my occupation, I'm a banker, or I'm a teacher, I train for that, but you do have a lot of other works that probably you need to review and train for, or buy my book and learn a little bit more about that. Yes, thank you.
It's really helping out.
Thank you.
Actually, my question is, what do you wish would have been included in the book that maybe didn't make it?
Oh, thank you so much for asking that question, because it made me actually remember that I have to thank someone, that just because the information didn't make it to the cut of the book, I forgot, and it's Carmen Santiago. It's a beautiful lady from Puerto Rico that I know for a long time. She's very spiritual, and we had a number of conversations where she inspired me to realize, and she actually wrote some quotes for me that finally didn't make it into the book, but she made me realize that there is a higher calling in executing these roles. That, for example, that driving my kids to Pinecrest and back to where I live is more than an hour. It's not simply driving. It's taking your loved ones to another place where they're going to be exposed to learning and exposed to finding probably their calls and their future, where cooking is not only chopping some vegetables and throwing, is nurturing your loved ones and filling that food with your love so that they can go out and realize and be happy and do their lives. There's a higher meaning and a higher goddess type of thing related to each one of those mundane, esos roles mundanos de jefa de la casa. Todos tienen intrínsecos un valor de diosa, de una cosa de la madre naturaleza. And she was wonderful bringing these topics to me. Thank you.
Claudia, una pregunta. No sé si está funcionando o no.
Sí.
La gente de la casa. Ok. Te quería preguntar si en tu libro incluyes algo de emociones, de cómo todo este rol nuevo, de alguna manera, que hemos tenido que asumir las mujeres, nos afecta emocionalmente, cómo se maneja eso. Yo no quisiera pensar que la familia es una empresa, como piensas tú, o como se plantea, pero me parece que como las mujeres estamos manejando nuestras emociones, nuestra sensualidad, la sexualidad.
No, pero sería un sequel fantástico. La jefa en la cama. Totalmente. I'm gonna need your help. No, thank you. No tengo nada como tal. Acuérdate que hay que ponerle límite. A un libro también teníamos que cortarlo en algún momento, ¿no? Pero sí hay mucho más. Inclusive hay muchos más roles de los que yo conseguí meter en el libro, ¿no? O sea, en un solo día, in just a single day, we go through all the roles. You're the shrink and the nurse and the cook and the one that opens and closes the door, and you're this and that. So there's the emotional part that I added. I wanted to make it a little bit fun, and I wanted to include something that touched the senses. So I included a playlist for each chapter, music that has to do with each one of the roles. I also added some fun, like how to dress for being la jefa de transporte, and how you dress. Maybe that's the sexual part. I put how to dress in fantasy as a chauffeur girl, and how to dress in real life to go in your car and be comfy. And that I do for each one of the roles. That could be very sexual.
I'm still Indian, but
Yes.
during your research for the book, what were some of your unexpected findings?
The most surprising finding, and actually it became like it's become my thing now. Uncover the covered feelings of women about how they really feel about managing and juggling all the roles. I was very surprised to find everywhere I looked how miserable we are, how stressed, and how much we are not talking about it, and how the expectations are really striving for perfection, and how also we in the media probably am helping to that dream too. But I think there's a moment, and it became something very personal because this is very biographical to me. Una cosa que me llamó, perdón que me estoy olvidando de hablar español, pero algo que me llamó mucho la atención del libro y lo que pregunta él es cuál fue ese descubrimiento que tuve sorpresivo cuando hice las entrevistas y hablé con las mujeres. Realmente es ver cuánto estamos sufriendo con hacer tantas cosas más de lo que realmente podemos. Y yo pienso que eso va a tener un efecto bastante negativo en nosotras, sí, como que no nos sinceramos un poco y si no empezamos a limitar, to set our own expectations and the expectations at home too. And si no empezamos a incluir la ayuda, whether it's from your mom, like my mom is helping me because I just had a baby, maybe we need to bring in more, be closer to our families, or maybe reach out more to our friends who are our family away from home, or maybe it's just learning to say no more than we do. Definitivamente que me sorprendí viendo, I was very surprised to see how much we are struggling and how willing we are to take on more, even though we're like almost, to the point of no return. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes? No? Well, thank you so much. Thank you really for making it. Again, it's amazing to have all of you here. I know how busy, I write about it, how busy we all are. So for you to open a little window para que hubiesen abierto unos minutitos y venir a acompañarme hoy acá en esta presentación debut de mi baby, es súper especial para mí. I want to ask you, I shouldn't be doing this, but buy the book, please talk about it, post the picture, and I forgot to thank Books and Books. I think I forgot to thank Gloria and this beautiful, what an amazing experience to be able to present my baby here in this amazing place that I love. Please support your local library because this is a place where I come to my kids to do readings. Aquí venimos los fines de semana a leer cuentos y si compramos más de otros lugares, Amazon y otros lugares donde el libro está también, pero tratemos de apoyar a nuestra librería local que hacen un excelente trabajo. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you.